It's been 15 months since Jose Mourinho returned to management with Tottenham Hotspur. When he took the job, the Portuguese supercoach vowed that he had learnt from his previous mistakes and was ready to adjust his style to the trends of the modern game. But following 3 straight defeats to Liverpool, Brighton and Chelsea, the age-old rumblings of discontent that complete the package of his employment are beginning to show their face again. Players are being attacked, the style of play under question, and the race for top 4 becoming increasingly challenging. But is Spurs' decline really his fault, and has he really changed? Let's have a look. The Mourinho way. One thing that hasn't changed is Mourinho's disdain for possession-based football. At the time of writing, the Lily-Whites take 11 shots per game, the 13th most in the English top flight and narrowly more than the defensively astute Crystal Palace and Newcastle. They regularly enjoy less than 50% possession, have a middling pass completion rate of 80.6% and commit the 4th most fouls in the division. The result is a side who play with their backs against the wall mentality, prioritising physicality and shape over creative flair. At its best, it can be called a defensive masterclass. Victory over Man City back in November showed off the Mourinho way in its prime, coasting to 3 points despite only 34% of possession and 2 shots on target all game. And then against Arsenal it was more of the same, defending a lead with just 23% of second half possession and not registering a single shot after the break. With the Lily-Whites top of the table, Mourinho was right to feel vindicated over his methods. However, Mourinho knows all too well that when results dry up, his style comes under fire. Excluding games against the bottom 3, since the turn of the year, Spurs have only outscored their opponents on XG just twice. They've already dropped 9 points in the last 10 minutes of matches, choosing to sit back and invite pressure rather than press on to seal a decisive victory. Draws to Crystal Palace and Wolves are examples of this. The team's tactics also makes it hard for them to recover from losing positions. In total, they have only won twice after falling behind on 8 occasions, losing the other 6 games. It's telling that 10 of their 36 goals have come in the opening 15 minutes, while they've only scored 3 times beyond the 75-minute mark. What's surprising about this is that during the early part of the season, Tottenham simply couldn't stop scoring. Following an opening day humbling by Everton, they went 10 games unbeaten, finding the net on 32 occasions. That included 3 games when they scored 5 or more, most notably a 6-1 demolition away to Man United. Mourinho was right to be smug that day, but the Old Trafford faithful could have the last laugh in the knowledge they have seen this all before. At the start of the 2017-18 campaign, Mourinho looked ready to rip off his defensive shackles and unleash his attack. And sure enough, United scored 33 goals in their 10 games. However, a trip to Liverpool saw him revert back into his conservative shell as they claimed a 0-0 draw. But the long-term rupture to their attacking momentum was palpable, as just a week later they were beaten 2-1 by Huddersfield. From then on, the Red Devils' playing style remained a point of contention within the Stretford end. While their rivals deployed adventurous, aggressive football, United remained cautious. He was fired after a dismal 3-1 defeat to Liverpool in December 2018, a game in which they were outshot 36 times to 4. Just as it was during his second spell at Chelsea, the Portuguese left United as a side lacking in ideas, energy and spirit, who in trying to nullify their opponents had ultimately ended up nullifying themselves. Those on the red side of Manchester will argue that Tottenham are having to endure the exact same process under Mourinho today. Unwilling to stick to one ideology, the Lily-Whites are constantly being asked to change gear depending on their opponent. But with the schedule so hectic, there simply isn't time to implement an effectively tailored approach. And with their default mode to defend, Tottenham's creative engine has struggled to fire, making for uncomfortable viewing. Over-reliance on Kane. To his credit, the former Porto boss has squeezed out the very best in Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. The duo are arguably the most lethal pairing in European football, on 13 goals apiece and having assisted each other a stunning 13 times this season. Mourinho's dogged defence has been complemented by their clinical work up front, with Son in particular scoring with a staggering 57% of his efforts on target. But it has been Kane who has been the real glue to their attack. On 24 goal involvements for the season already, he ranks 3rd in the Premier League for through balls, 2nd for goal creating actions, while his 2.8 defensive actions per game are the most in his career. While this should be rightly celebrated, the coach has admitted his side suffer from an over-dependence on the Englishman. Without their talismanic number 9, Tottenham look devoid of attacking threat and ideas, a problem ruthlessly exposed in their defeat to Brighton. Against the Seagulls, they only hit the target on 4 occasions, finishing with a dismal XG of 0.37. Against Liverpool, that dropped to 0.10, while only marginally improved against Chelsea. In all 3 occasions, their toothlessness without Kane was plain for all to see. Mourinho will argue he has limited options beyond his famed front pair. Beyond the duo, his next top scorer in the league is Tanguy Ndombele on 3, and then Serge Aurier on 2. Carlos Vinicius, brought in to provide a timely backup to Kane, has hardly been given a chance, while Gareth Bale is quickly turning into an expensive gamble that hasn't paid off. With only one goal in the Premier League, the forward looks a shadow of his former self and a growing problem for Mourinho. Handed a rare start against Brighton, Bale could only muster up a single shot, complete 14 passes, and manage one tackle before being hauled off at the 60-minute mark. It was a ragged performance, and the 31-year-old hasn't been seen on the pitch since. This will no doubt alarm club CEO Daniel Levy, who negotiated the £17 million it cost to complete his high-profile return from Real Madrid. According to The Telegraph, Mourinho hadn't wanted Bale in the first place, asking for Ollie Watkins and a central defender instead. And while the Welsh international has failed to shine, Watkins hit the 10-goal mark for Aston Villa in just 21 league appearances. Costing only £8 million more to sign permanently, and 6 years Bale's junior, it's hardly surprising Mourinho might be unimpressed with the hand he was dealt. However, the Real Madrid loanee isn't the only forward struggling at Spurs. It's even been suggested that a limited attacking strategy exists beyond getting the ball to Kane or Son's feet, making it hard for anyone else to succeed. If this is the case, then the fault is with the manager. Man management. Many of Jose Mourinho's employments have reached a typically combustible conclusion. At Real Madrid, he managed to win every domestic title available, but also succeeded in alienating club legends Iker Casillas and Sergio Ramos while dividing the Madristas. His return to Chelsea proved exactly the same. 7 months after powering to the Premier League title, he was out of the job, with the club's technical director Michael Emenalo describing a palpable discord that existed behind the scenes. Mourinho had publicly lambasted unnamed members of the squad for betraying his work, though Emenalo made it clear it was the fault of the manager. And then there was his time at Man United. Despite bringing success, discontent grew rife. He famously fell out with Paul Pogba, criticised Romelu Lukaku, and relentlessly picked on Luke Shaw and Anthony Martial. A falling out with Ed Woodward over signings exasperated tensions, and he was eventually shown the door. And last season with Tottenham, he appeared to be back to his old tricks, turning on record signing Tanguy Ndombele. His discontent with the £54 million midfielder peaked against Burnley, where after an awful performance he was removed at half-time. After the game, the former Inter coach made it clear he would not be giving Ndombele many more chances. To the 58-year-old's credit, his tough stance paid off today, as the former Lyon star is an integral member of the side. However, the same cannot be said of another point of contention, Dele Alli. Initially, Dele had looked rejuvenated under Mourinho, who wasted little time telling the English midfielder he needed to work harder in training. The criticism had the desired effect, and Dele quickly raced on to 8 goals and 4 assists in the league. But when coronavirus brought football to a halt, it also did Dele's revival. Once football resumed last June, he only played for a grand total of 86 minutes. Mourinho has made his opinion of the English international plain to see by hardly using him this season. And while he has changed, rarely criticising his squad in public, he didn't hold back in letting Dele know how he felt following a mistake against Stoke City in the FA Cup. And after a move to PSG failed to materialise last January, an uneasy truce will have to exist between the two. As he has discovered before, toxicity within the squad can be hugely destabilising, and Levy will be watching. Mourinho has declared a fresh start between him and Dele, but only time will tell who will still be at Tottenham Hotspur come the end. After years of harmony and stability under Mauricio Pochettino, Mourinho has proved a shock to the system. Despite claims he has changed, fans still appear divided, the football rugged, and internal politics brew behind the scenes. However, as promised, they are one game from ending their 13-year trophy drought, but for many, the cost of success simply isn't worth the Mourinho package. So guys, that was our FD explain on whether Mourinho is finished at the top level. What did you guys think of it? Let me know in the comments down below, along with what you want to see us cover next on this strand. As I said earlier, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and click on screen for another great Football Daily video, and I'll catch you next time.